Yeah, start it, and then Adam, if you can wait just a couple seconds after you start it, just because it delays.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
What is it? What's the option? Don't click the one that says no audio. No, I'll click the one that says with audio. Yeah. Can we call Bradford, see if he hears us?
Bradford, can you hear us?
It's my fault. Some audio issues. He's gonna fix it all.
What are you looking for?
technical issues.
You heard us yet? Bradford?
Remember that. Hmm.
Can you hear me, Brad? Okay. You're good.
Good evening. The meeting order on 6 p.m. I will be housekeeping items. Present. Applicants attending remotely will be muted by staff until their agenda item is called. Once called, the applicant will be unmuted to make their presentation and answer any questions of the commission. When your item is complete, which means it's been voted on, you are free to leave the meeting. Public comment will be solicited during each actionable agenda item. Once I ask for public comment on a specific item, please click Raise Hand in the GoToWebinar in order to make public comment. Before being individually identified, all members of the public will be muted. Village staff will announce the speaker by stating their name and unmute their audio to allow up to 3 minutes of public comment. When called, please state your name and address for the record and proceed with your comment, speaking clearly during your allotted time. Important to note, please make sure you limit background noise to the extent possible. When speaking, please be sure to identify yourself so that we know who is speaking, and do not use the chat or question function in the GoToWebinar, as these functions will not be monitored during the meeting. And as a reminder, this meeting can be viewed live on Comcast Local Channel 18 or streamed at royalpalmbeach.com/YouTube. If we could all stand, please, and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Christina, can you do a roll call, please?
Yes. Chairman Adam Miller,
Present.
Vice Chair Philip Marquis,
Here.
Commissioner June Perrin, Commissioner David Leland,
Here.
Commissioner Ray Nazareth,
Here.
Laura McClellan, alternate 1, Gerald Brown, alternate 2.
Thank you, Christina. I need approval of the meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes of the last meeting.
So minutes were motioned by Commissioner Marquis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Leland. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Minutes passed 5-0. Okay, so now we're on to our agenda items. So application number 21-55 LW, Access Specialty Animal Hospital. The applicant, Marcos Yunus, is requesting approval for a landscaping waiver from section 15-133 C1 and 2 in order to eliminate the existing parallel divider strip and the required landscaping on the west side of the building as part of the conversion to a fenced dog walking area for a property located at 10465 Southern Boulevard. Mitty, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sir, are you here for the application? Can you go to that podium over there, sir? Yes, sir. Can you state your name for the record?
My name is Manny Gutierrez from Gutierrez Amazon Architects in 2030 West State 44, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Thank you, sir. This is, hold on just 1 second for me. Let me swear you in. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, so I need to swear you in. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you, sir. And let me turn back to the board and ask if there, the commission rather, and ask if there are any ex parte communications that need to be disclosed with regard to 21-55.
No.
No. Sir, I think you have to turn on the mic. There's a button on the front.
Is the light on?
There you go.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you. Sorry. Mitty, you're all good?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mitty. Bradford, it's over to you, sir.
Great, thank you. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great, fantastic. The applicant is requesting a landscape waiver from Village Code Section 15133C1 and 2, parallel divider strips, in order to convert the existing parallel divider strip to a dog run and to eliminate the required shrub and or ground cover requirement within the divider strip. Village Code Section 15133C1 and 2 requires a landscape divider strip to run parallel to the long dimension of the parking space and shall be provided after each row of 10 parking spaces. This divider strip shall also be 8 feet in width, exclusive of walkways and curbing. Additionally, within this divider strip, there shall be a minimum of 1 tree, 1 shrub, and or 1 ground cover for every 2 linear feet. And if you can see here, this is the divider strip in question. The applicant contends, quote, "We are not eliminating the landscape island, but we are fencing it to create an outdoor dog run to serve the existing Access Specialty Animal Hospital Veterinarian Clinic building. Said outdoor dog run area was unanimously approved by the Village of Royal Palm Beach Planning and Zoning Commission and Village Council. Please also note that the width of the proposed fenced-in island is 30 feet wide when only 8 feet is required. Also, the 2 required existing trees will remain in the island to provide shade and greenery. Lower plantings and sod in the island will be substituted with artificial turf. We'll be using a green-coated chain link fence that will be transparent. It is my professional opinion that the proposed 35-foot wide outdoor dog run with 2 mature trees and transparent green vinyl fence more than satisfies the intent of this code. Section which is visually separate breakup parking rows of more than 10 spaces and also to provide shade. The approval of this landscape waiver will be tied to the veterinarian clinic use. This means that the outdoor run kennel will be only there as long as only the veterinarian clinic. If it was veterinarian clinic leaves, the landscape island would be very easily be restored to fully comply with this code section. End quote. Staff is recommending denial of this landscape waiver request, given that the divider strip is 34 feet wide. There is sufficient space to accommodate both the required shrub material and the dog run. It's important to note, however, that the divider strip will not be removed and can be converted back to a Village Code compliant divider strip should the building be occupied by a different user in the future. With that being said, I'll turn the floor back over to you, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Bradford. I believe Mr. Gutierrez, you're the applicant, sir.
Yes, I'm the architect. I was the architect for the hospital, for the veterinary hospital. Dr. Units is in surgery today, so he normally has been attending the meetings, but he was not able to make it today.
Okay. If you have a presentation, you can go ahead. Thank
I'm
you.
sorry?
If you have a presentation, you can go ahead.
I think Bradford explained it pretty clearly of what it is. They moved in, this veterinary hospital is probably, if not the most, maybe one of the most advanced veterinary hospitals in all of Florida. It's probably one of the biggest ones in all of Florida as well. They moved into a place which was what they call a dark box. It was the Staples that went out of business. So it was a good move for them, for the community to bring and revitalize that shopping center. So the commissioners did approve a special use unanimously for the use of that area for this outdoor run. And so was the Architectural Review Board, and so was the Zoning Board. We all got a full approvals. This is a multifaceted approval, as we came to see. The hospital, we were able to do the plans, build the hospital, and get the hospital running, and we still haven't not been able to work on this because there were multiple facets that needed to be addressed. And even after that's when I think we have one more, which is a minor site plan modification that all these needed to be completed. So they had the building, and the building was not designed, obviously, originally for a veterinary clinic. So this was kind of like the only place where they were able to locate this outdoor area for bringing out the dogs. I don't believe that, like Bradford was saying, I don't believe that it really goes against the nature of the code or what the intent of the code is. We try to minimize. We wanted not to lose any parking spaces, so that's the reason why we didn't go into another parking area and so on. So we try to do it the least invasive way possible. The reason that they need this is they normally would bring out the dogs on other facilities with a leash. They had an incident where one of the dogs ran away and got hit by an automobile and died. So they're trying to have, they would be walking the dogs in this area anyways, but the only thing that they wanted to do is put a fence to make it more safe for both the dogs and people around. So like Bradford was saying, we're leaving, there's 2 mature trees in the island. The island is quite larger than your typical 8-foot wide. So we're leaving the trees in there, and the variance we're asking to be tied into the hospital. So if ever the hospital goes and another staple goes back in there that does not need that, the full island could be, with no problem, put back in. The reason that we are removing the lower plants is because the dogs using it would really destroy the growth of the plants. So that's what we're putting on the bottom, but we're leaving the trees for shade. So that's why we're putting out artificial grass in. So if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Great, thank you, Mr. Gutierrez. Appreciate that. Commissioners, do we have any questions, comments, or discussion? Start with Commissioner Nazareth.
My question. That's a technical issue one. Anyway,
Wow.
getting back to what my question was to Bradford. Bradford, is there a way we can mitigate the situation, because the applicant doesn't agree with the disapproval of the staff?
As far as mitigating it, no. This is the area in which the applicant has chosen in order to put this outdoor dog run. They have looked at other areas on this site, so the argument could be made, and the applicant is, I think, making this argument that it's the least variance request that can be made to still have the reasonable use of the property for this type of animal hospital.
Okay, thank you. Also to the applicant, is there a way we can work this out and come to some happy medium? I mean, in your opinion?
They're actually, the space that they have is actually not as big as they would do a normal yard to walk the dogs. So my clients are already kind of like compromising. They were hoping that the city would work with them to help them this be a successful hospital. We did not think that the request was excessive in any way, shape, or form. So they do need as much area as possible. It's a large hospital. It's about 23,000 square feet. So the animals that are here are not animals that are boarding or healthy animals. There are animals that are there recuperating or waiting to be treated or being treated. So I'm open. I mean, they definitely need this real bad for the services that they're providing to the community. So I would ask of you to try to cooperate with the animal hospital. Like again, I said, I don't think that request is, I don't think it's going to bother anybody. I don't think even anybody's going to even notice it in there, and it will be a great help to the hospital. But whatever we need to do, they would like to have have something. This is what will work for them. And like I said, even with the space that we've asked for, it's quite a very small area for as a regular dog run. We design dog parks. I've designed pet lodges, multiple of them, and the parks are a lot bigger, and they have a lot of other things. This is kind of like just to the minimum that they can get, and we were able to incorporate it off the side of the indoor kennels, just for the dogs to be able to walk outside and use it. So, I mean,
I have another question while we're at it. How do your neighbors feel about you doing this? I mean, are they supportive or?
No, we have gone through. Well, let me say that this is like the fourth appearance that we had. So, in all of the commission meetings and planning and zoning, this has been advertised, and nobody has said, not one person has complained about it. It's in the middle of the shopping center. It's facing another blank wall. There's 2 parking roads next to us, so it's far away from any other structure. So, again, the commissioners and the planning board, if they thought that was a problem, for starts, they wouldn't have given us we started by asking for a special exception, because if we didn't give us a special exception, there was no purpose of continuing the process. And the same plan that we have provided to you guys today, to this board today, is the same one that we used to show that the commissioners approved and the planning board approved. So we have not changed anything from the beginning. So it seems to me that if all the boards would have seen something wrong about it, they would have said us from the beginning, listen, I mean, this is not something that we think that we would support and stop us. But our sense was that they told us we'll approve it, but you have to go through the entire process of complete approval. So on all the board meetings that we have, and it has been advertised, we haven't had one single person that to my knowledge, that has objected to our request.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Markey?
I have no question.
I have a question for Bradford. So just confirming, we did approve previously the outdoor dog run area. Now we're just approving the fencing in of that. I'm a little confused.
No. Yeah, no, the special exception was for the animal hospital with dog run. The location and the configuration of that dog run wasn't approved. The idea and the use, veterinarian clinic with dog run, was approved. And then this is the location which they chose for the dog run. And this item and the next item is to make that work.
Understood. Thank you for that, sir. Okay. Commissioner Leland, any questions, discussion?
No, but I guess maybe because this was left vague. I quite frankly, I agree with staff.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner McClellan?
I did. If that was a question for me, I did not hear it. Can you turn your microphone on, please?
Sorry, I said, if this site, is it parked at what it's supposed to be parked at? Is it over parked? Is it under parked?
It is parked at its required parking.
Okay. All right. So if they needed to add islands, then they would have to eliminate a parking space. Therefore, they would have to ask for variance for parking.
Right. So then you're chasing your tail.
Okay.
No pun intended.
Funny, Bradford. So I think I had one more question. So just following up on my earlier question, we did approve that they could do a dog run.
Correct.
And now they're coming back to do the dog run, and that's what we're approving. And they work with your group, right, Bradford, to try to get a least variance. Is that what you said? As possible.
That's correct.
Okay, that clears up for me. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to any other comments from the commissioners? Any more questions? Okay, I'd like to open the floor to public comment on this item. Don't see anyone in person. Christina, do we have anyone online?
No.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to close the floor to public comment. I'd like to request a motion to be made.
I'll move approval of application number 2155 LW.
Motion made by Commissioner McClellan for approval. Do I have a second? Seconded by Commissioner Marquis. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
I oppose.
Okay, so we have 2-4 and two. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Carries
3-2. Motion passes 3-2. Sorry. Okay, motion passes 3-2. Congratulations, Mr. Gutierrez. I'm going to move on to application number 21-54, PVR, Access Specialty Animal Hospital. The applicant, Marcos Yunus, is requesting a parking variance from section 23-49B6 to eliminate a portion of the required sidewalk in the rear parking lot to the front of the building, where village code requires an uninterrupted sidewalk connecting the rear parking area to the public entrance in the front of the building for a property located at 10465 Southern Boulevard. Mitty, over to you.
Thank you. The applicant has been sworn. I'll just ask the commission if there are any ex parte disclosures on application 21-54.
No.
Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mitty. Bradford, back to you, sir.
Great, thank you very much. As you stated, the applicant is requesting a parking variance from Village's Code of Ordinances, section 2349B6B, in order to eliminate a portion of the required sidewalk from the rear parking area to the front of the building, where Village Code requires a 6-foot wide continuous pedestrian access way connecting the rear parking area to the public entrance in the front of the building. An access way connecting the rear parking area to the public entrance in the front of the building exists today and is shown here on this slide. On the west side of the building, you can see the red arrow pointing to that sidewalk. The criteria for granting variances is set forth in section 2632. Specifically, that special conditions and circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, does not result from the actions of the applicant, will not confer on the applicant any special privilege. A literal interpretation of the provisions of this division would deprive the applicant the rights commonly enjoyed by other properties. That the variance granted is a minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, will be in harmony with the general intent purpose of this division, will not be injurious to the area involved, detrimental to public welfare. The applicant intends to reconfigure this landscape island to accommodate a dog run. The applicant contends that the users of the parking area in the rear of the building will be the employees of the animal hospital and enter the building through the rear of the building, and that there is ample parking at the front and the sides of the building, making the sidewalk largely unnecessary for the parking spaces in the rear of the building, since they will be mainly used by the employees or primarily used by the employees. Staff is not in support of this variance. No special conditions or circumstances exist which are not applicable to other lands. The condition is a result of actions of the applicant and will confer on the applicant special privileges that are denied to other lands. Again, that is a strict interpretation of our code that staff has to adhere to, and therefore staff requests a recommendation of denial to be submitted to Village Council regarding application 2154. Thank you, and I'll turn the floor back over to you, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Bradford. Mr. Gutierrez, you have another presentation, sir, or anything you'd like to say?
Yes, please. Going back to the original explanation, again, that the building was not designed for the animal hospital, in which case, if we had, we would have incorporated to all the code requirements the outdoor run area. Unfortunately, but it's a win-win situation for the community, for this hospital to be here, and for the hospital to be where they are. So in this particular case, it does sound like a parking variance, but what it is there is a sidewalk that goes right through the middle of the area that we're trying to use for the outdoor dog run area. So we are not taking the sidewalk out, but we're blocking it. So, obviously it's not going to be able to be used. The owner understands that, and the majority or a lot of the people that park in here are employees. They have a lot of employees, and they can park in the back. They have an entrance from the back area. Right now, the spaces that they have in front is more than sufficient for the people that drop the dogs or pick up the dogs. The dogs, obviously, as you know, they don't drive themselves, so it's like a, so uh, they determined that they don't need that connection from the back, and the connection will stay there, and just like the previous application, when if the hospital hopefully will not go away after all the money they have spent and all the effort in moving in there, but if they ever move, the sidewalk's still there, and this will be removed, and then it will turn out into another situation where they could be connected again for the other need. But as far as their need is concerned, they understand that they don't need it, and they're asking again so that they can have the dog walking area.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to go to the commissioners. We'll start with Commissioner McClellan. If you have any questions, comment, or discussion. Okay. Commissioner Leland. I'm bad with numbers and names today. I don't know what's up with that.
Well, I guess if we approve the other part, how can we not approve this part?
Well, I have a follow-up question to that, actually, Mr. Gutierrez. So, Mr. Gutierrez, for the dog run, how much area do you actually need for a dog run?
This is a dog area, so because there could be multiple dogs in the area. So a regular, like one of the pet resorts, the parks are like 100 by 100.
Right.
And they have other things on it. So it's not fair to compare one with the other. To be honest with you, this is the biggest hospital that I have ever designed. We designed several. I have not designed another one. This is probably could be one of the hospitals honestly, in a third world country. They have so many. They have CAT scans. They have MRIs. I mean, they have cancer treatment. They have all kinds of things, which is incredible. So I have never designed another one that had this park outside. I have never designed another one that had the volume of dogs that they have. So I cannot compare it to another hospital. I can only compare it to the pet lodges and pet resorts that I do, but those are for healthy animals. And, they're going to be run. They have pools, exercise equipment, which these dogs are not going to have. So the dog parks are a lot larger. This is strictly an area where there might be 5 or 6 dogs walking around in the area. And the area that's there, it's just the size of the island, which is about maybe 18 by 32 when you put the fence in it.
I guess my question is, so there's the sidewalk area against the building, right? And then
Yes,
there's the grass and trees area a little bit further out past the 6 feet required sidewalk. My question really is if you put the fence on the outside of the sidewalk, so continued sidewalk is still there, do you have enough for the dogs for your needs? That's my question.
The problem is that well, no. My client really, if they could, they would like a larger area. This is like I said before, and I mean it. I mean, they really needed more area. They wouldn't have gone staff. That's the reason that we're here, and I'm sure the commissioner, voted because the staff was saying we deny it because we're trying to, and the other commissioner said, can we work something out? My clients decided, listen, Manny, we need it. I mean, and that's the reason why we've been close to a year on this application. They wouldn't be doing this if they really did not need the area. So they really need the entire area to make it work as they need it. So if they didn't have anything else, I think the idea, which we thought about it, but they wouldn't want to have the sidewalk because it gives the dogs an additional chance to go astray. Because you have to go from a door to the outside back into the area, where this area you don't leave the hospital. And I'm telling you that is a major thing for pet lodges and animal hospitals. Is it's incredible how quickly an animal can just take off and be out. And
thank you, Mr. Gutierrez. I appreciate that explanation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Marquis. Commissioner Nazareth.
Bradford, can you tell us, you said special privileges. Can you go over that again, please?
Yes. as part of the granting of a variance criteria. Number 3, will not confer on the applicant any special privilege.
Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Okay, I'd like to open the floor to public comment. There's no one in attendance. Anyone online? No. Thank you, Christina. I'd like to close the floor to public comment, and I'd like to request a motion to be made on this item.
I'll make a motion we pass application 21-54.
Motion made by Commissioner Marquis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner McClellan. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
I do.
Okay, so item passes 3-2 like the last one. Okay. Congratulations, Mr. Gutierrez. Hope
Okay.
you have a good night, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for being here for listening to my case since it's the only one, so.
You have a good night, sir. Okay, before we adjourn, I just want to remind the commissioners we have a local planning agency meeting right after this, so don't get up after we adjourn. And our next meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission is on Monday, November 15th. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Motion made by Commissioner Nazareth to close. Do I have a second? Oh, you're Leland. Sorry. I don't know what's going on with me tonight. I can't count.
All right, Nazareth will second it.
Nazareth, well, I got your name in there someplace. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned. So I'd like to now call the meeting of the local. I'd like to call the meeting of the local planning agency to order on Tuesday, October 26th at 7:37 p.m. We already did the pledge. Christina, you want to do the roll call again?
Sure. Chairman Adam Miller,
Present.
Vice Chairman Philip Marquis,
Here.
Commissioner June Perrin, Commissioner David Leland,
Here.
Commissioner Ray Nazareth,
Here.
Laura McClellan, alternate 1,
Present.
Gerald Brown, alternate 2.
Thank you, Christina. We do have minutes from last time. I'd like to ask for approval of the minutes, please.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the August 24th, 2021 meeting and September 28th, 2020.
And September 28th. Thank you, Commissioner Leland. You got your name right. Do I have a second for both sets of minutes?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Marquis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Minutes passed 5-0. Okay, we're up to the only item on the agenda. Ordinance 1020 proposes to amend the Village's Code of Ordinances at Chapter 9, Fences, Hedges, and Walls, at Section 9-1 to add an exemption for repairs or replacement less than 25% of the permitted installation, and at Section 9-8 to revise current regulations for residential zone property to require the presentation of finished side out in certain instances. Committee, over to you.
Thank you, sir. You have the backup before you. This is a relatively straightforward ordinance. It does two things. As the chairman just said, the first revision is to section 9-1, and this actually is changing this section of the code to be consistent with the local amendment to the building code. There was a change to that, I think 3 months ago, that this 25% was added to that local amendment. So this is just codifying this in the village's ordinance now. In the past, there hasn't been a percentage in the code, so this is at the request of the Community Development Director, Rob Hill, who's also the building official. This codifies the exemption for minor repairs and makes it less discretionary, puts a number on it so that people can very clearly understand when you need a permit and when you don't. So that's the first change. The second change is also at his request. It requires that all fences that are constructed in the front yard, so that means in front of the primary structure, between the front of the primary structure and the lot line. So anywhere between the front of the house and essentially the street or the property line, that those fences be installed with the good side, as we refer to it. That's what's known as finished side out, so that the appearance of the fence, where visible from the street or the right of way, is showing the good side of the fence. We did put a definition in that language in 9-8 so that it's clear what we're talking about when we say finished side out. But this is just to help appearances for fences and ensure that they're constructed in a way that makes them as aesthetically pleasing as possible. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you may have.
commissioners, I'll leave it open to calling names. Okay, do we have to do public comment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll open the floor to public comment. Anyone online, Christina?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. I will close the floor to public comments. I'd like to request a motion made on ordinance 1020.
I'll make a motion that we accept ordinance 1020.
Motion made by Commissioner Leland, seconded by Commissioner Marquis. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, everyone. The next meeting of the local planning agency will be on Monday, November 15th. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion made by Commissioner Leland. Do we have a second? Seconded by Commissioner Marquis. All in favor of adjourning? Aye. All opposed? Have a good night, everyone. Thank you. Great job, everyone.